Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast fans. Thank you for coming back for more of Season 3 with the Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast. On the show today, we have a special guest who is a Lake of the Ozarks native and has been in real estate for over 22 years. This agent has received numerous awards, such as the Pinnacle Award and the Summit Award, almost every year. Through RE/MAX, she has been ranked high as number 3 board-wide as an independent agent and within the state region. It's my pleasure to welcome my great friend and old neighbor, Miss Josie Mantle. Josie, thanks so much for being here. I'm excited to talk about you and your story and your history here at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very anxious to talk to you and share my knowledge, my information, and the things that I love about real estate with everyone listening.
That's great. So, Josie, where I wanted to start this episode is just you telling us a little bit about yourself and just kind of about your history and how you came to the Lake of the Ozarks.
All right. I have a fairly interesting history for the lake area, as my family came here in the 1830s, and that makes me a 6th-generation native to the lake area.
Wow.
And with that being the case, my father was involved with, my father was able to view the building of the lake. He was around during the times when there was a lot of interesting things going on. And then as the lake developed into a tourist area, he was very instrumental in going out around the state and the Midwest and promoting the Lake of the Ozarks so tourism could get its start.
Well, and I'm so glad that you said that, because that's kind of where I wanted to, what I wanted to ask you about. You know, you previously told me that you and your parents were instrumental in bringing tourism to the lake in the 40s and 50s. So tell me kind of what that meant to your parents and how they got that happening.
All right. My father was raised on a farm here between Montreal and Lynn Creek, which was their homestead property.
Okay.
Let me take you back to their coming here. Back in the 1830s, the Foster family loaded up their family on a wooden barge. It was like a houseboat, but it was a wooden barge. And they took their oxen and made their poles, and they floated down the Ohio River. Then the Mississippi must have been different than it is now, because they poled and pulled their boats up the Mississippi, up the Missouri, and up the Osage River.
Wow.
And it took them 3 years to get to the Ozarks area.
Oh, my.
And they all spread out and homesteaded land throughout the area. So with that being said, again, my father moved away, came back, married my mother, and then came back to the lake, and they bought an existing restaurant here, which was called the Nighthawk Tavern at that time.
Oh, cool.
They ran the restaurant for 40 or 50 years, and before Osage Beach and Lake Ozark was anything more than a little bump in the road, Camdenton was called Hub City of the Ozarks.
Oh, wow.
And they had a restaurant right off the square. And if anybody in the lake area wanted to go to some place to find out what's going on, that was where they came. So with that, my father decided we need to promote tourism here, because we've got fishing camps, we've got little boats to rent, we've got a wonderful area, and just a few little resorts. So he created a little square dance group of children ranging in the age of about 2 to about 10. And we practiced every week, and he would take us out, and we would tour the Midwest, and with every show, he would promote tourism for the Lake of the Ozarks.
Wow.
Eventually, when Nashville was vying to be the country music capital of the world, Springfield was in the run for that.
Oh, wow.
And Springfield started the very first national television program ever in the nation. It was called the Ozark Jubilee with Red Foley. Of course, it was a country music show. And ourselves, our little square dance group, and then an older square dance group alternated opening the show every other week. And we did this for a good number of years. So that was another way he promoted tourism at the lake.
How fun.
Yes, it really was. It was quite an experience for all of us, even though we were very small.
Well, I want to fast forward just a little bit. You were previously in various sales and advertising, as well as an entrepreneur in food and beverage. So tell me about that.
All right. When I moved back to the lake in 76, my parents' restaurant was open, and my folks said, we'd like to open a little cocktail lounge down below so that we could have liquor by the drink. At that time, in order to do that, you had to have the restaurant attached to it. So I moved to the lake, and I opened up a little bar called the Kitty Hawk Lounge. And with the professional taste from Harris Interior, Jim Harris, who I grew up with, said, if I'm going to have a little bar to go to, I'm going to help you make it really cool. And he did, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Wow.
I ran the little bar for about 7 years and then moved away. After that, I became involved in various kinds of sales. Before real estate, I was in advertising. I sold billboards. I did some other marketing. I sold foods for Cisco Foods at one time. And then I landed at Old Kinderhook as they were just first bid developing.
Oh, neat.
That was my start in real estate. Ironically, in my 20s and 30s, every personality profile test I ever took said I should sell real estate. And I said, are you kidding? I never want to sell real estate.
Really? Well, I was going to say, what sparked the interest in real estate then?
Well, it was just a job. I was working for Cisco Foods, and I was a single mom, and the job was just too involved to be a single mom, and I needed to find something else. So I started working there, selling for the owner-developer, and later on, they brought in a marketing team, and in order to continue selling, since I was no longer going to be working for the owner, I had to get my real estate license.
Neat.
And that's how I ended up in real estate.
Well, I just love that history, Josie. I could listen to you talk about the lake and your story forever. You consider yourself to be an expert, though, with residential, condo, commercial, and vacant land sales now. You take pride in being a local expert with over 22 years of experience. Why is this so important to work with a local expert agent here at the Lake of the Ozarks?
What can I say? We know our market. We know the ins and outs of what it takes to buy property at the lake. We know the local banks are so very important in financing our loans here in order to protect our buyers. You can get out-of-area lenders, and we'll walk to the closing table, and some of those lenders don't know what it takes to close, and our closings can fall through. I think to have the experience of a local agent is of the utmost importance. We have a lot of new agents come into the area, and we welcome them with open arms, but they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the experience, they don't have the connections, they don't have the reputations that we have at selling the lake. And besides that, it is the local agents who developed our real estate market here.
Absolutely.
And I think I would love to see more and more people supporting our local realtors.
I would too. I think that's a great, excellent point, because I feel like, since I've been in the industry now for 3 going on 4 years, I hear that often. Several, clients going through transactions or agents going through transactions and not working with a local agent, and that agent forgetting something with an Ameren permit or a dock inspection or something like that because it's not something they typically deal with in a different market. So I think it is very important down here at Lake of the Ozarks.
It is definitely in a buyer's interest to work with a local agent. It's almost anything you do. You go to a city, you're probably going to want to work with someone that's local that knows the ins and outs, and that's what we have to offer.
I love that.
Especially at RE/MAX.
Yeah, RE/MAX is great. What are some of your favorite things about the real estate business?
I think one of my favorite things is, and I'm going to borrow a line that I know another agent uses, but it's so true. Our new clients become our old friends, and we have lifelong relationships. I tell all of my clients once we close, just because we finished closing here, it doesn't mean my working relationship with you is over, because basically there are things they need after they close. I just had a client call me today just to call and tell me what their plans are, and they bought 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, cool.
I love having that kind of relationship. I also love making the business connections around the lake. In my instance, since I've been here so long, I can almost get myself in and out of almost any type of business, find the owner. If I don't know an answer, I can usually dig deep enough and know where to go to get those answers to make things right for my client. And the most important thing for me in the end of a real estate transaction is that my client walks away from me being so happy and so content with everything that in his mind, he will tell everyone he knows, if you're going to need a real estate agent at the lake, call Josie Mantle.
Right. And having all of those years to back your experience, I'm sure has really paid off.
It has paid off for me time and time again. And hopefully that will continue.
Well, I sure hope so. I wouldn't know why it wouldn't. I see you everywhere around the lake, not just, your marketing material. Like, I love your billboard in Lynn Creek, for example, different things. But I feel like you are as a person who's been here a long time at the lake myself, I feel like everybody knows your name. When you say Josie Mantle, everybody knows. So it's
Yes.
really, really cool to have that history.
I think it's neat too, and it doesn't hurt to have a unique name like Josie, so it doesn't get confused with hardly anyone else in the industry.
So what would be some advice for anyone interested in coming into the real estate industry?
Well, I think they need to look hard and not follow a dream in which they think it's going to be an easy business. It's a very challenging business, and it takes a lot of work to do a good job. And so if you're going to look at the industry, it's wonderful. It's fun. You'll get to know people. You'll have experiences you would never, ever dream of having, good and bad. But be prepared to work hard. If you think you're getting into an industry where you can just come in and sell one here and one there, it doesn't usually work for most of those people. There are a few of them out there that have managed, but I would say be prepared to work hard and learn to love what you do.
I would definitely piggyback that too with the fact that it's something new every day, which is kind of exciting for a person who wants to kind of deal with new challenges and not get bogged down with, a routine of some kind. So that's what I like about the industry too. It's something new every day.
Correct. It's so true.
Yeah. So what would be some advice that you would offer to clients currently that may be listening?
Well, our market, as everyone knows, across the nation has changed in such a manner that if you find a property you like, you don't have time to think about it, especially if it's a good, clean property in a desirable location, especially if it's a lakefront property or a condo. Even the farmland properties are selling quickly. And so if you're serious about buying, have your ducks in a row, have your lending worked out, talk to the agent ahead of time so she can give you guidance, he or she can give you guidance with what you can do to be ready to buy. And if you find a property you like, be prepared to act quickly. Sadly, if you don't, you will probably go through 3 or 4 attempts to buy properties before you realize, oh, I should have listened to what my realtor told me, because this is becoming a long and drawn out process. But even if you're doing things right, be prepared. You may have to write a few different offers before you are actually the winner. Properties seem to be selling for higher than list price. Be prepared for that. Again, just talk to a local agent, let them tell you what to do, how to go about doing it, and perform the best and quickly as you can. Virtual tours are a great way to entertain purchasing a property if you can't be here.
Oh, I love that idea. Yeah, we've seen a lot of good feedback from agents offering that kind of service.
Right. It seems to be one of the new trends in the industry across the country, and here at the lake, we're right on board with everyone else.
I love it. So, what are some future goals for you personally and or professionally? Like, you have gone 22 years now. I can only imagine where you want to take this with enough momentum in the future. I'm super excited for you.
Well, I am too. And with RE/MAX behind me, I'm going to give a little plug here for RE/MAX because they are so supportive. We've got a staff that's absolutely wonderful. Our management is there for us 24/7 with good, solid advice. Sometimes it's advice we want to hear, sometimes it's not. But that's what I like. They help us get through and try to reach our goals. I'm still thriving for some higher goals in sales at the end. I have not reached as high as I would like to go.
That's great.
I intend to be in the business another 7 or 8 years, so I've got a lot of time ahead of me. And and maybe I'd like to form a team.
Yeah?
I'd really like to get started working on developing a team and see if I can make that work for me as well.
Wow, Josie, that's so inspirational. I'm very excited for you and your goals. I hope that you can attain them and quickly, because I think that you would be an amazing team leader and amazing agent. So
we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Okay, what is something that has you excited about our industry and the rest of this year and then into 2022?
I think one of the most exciting bits of news is that our interest rates are going to stay low. In speaking with lenders I'm associated with, in hearing from management in RE/MAX who's getting their information from national level in RE/MAX, our interest rates should remain low for 3 and even maybe as much as 5 years, but definitely closer to 3 years. And with that being said, that should spur our industry and keep it alive so people can buy. Even if they're buying at higher prices, they're paying at lower interest rates.
Yes.
So it kind of balances it out. It scares people, but sometimes they haven't thought about that. And in doing so, you're still in very good shape. I mean, it's a great time to buy.
That's an excellent point.
And with the interest rates staying down, I don't see our values dropping too much. I mean, we may have a bit of up and down. That's only normal in this industry, and it's seasonal. But I just say we have a great future in real estate right now. And my personal opinion, I don't see that our values are going to drop a whole lot anyhow, because values of land at the Lake of the Ozarks prior to the last year and a half have always been far lower than more other recreational parts of the country. I think we're going to be catching up, and we're going to hold our own at those values, which means good investment for the people who are buying.
Absolutely. I think you're probably spot on with your assessment. I look forward to seeing all of that growth continue that we've had, because I think it's doing wonders for our area down here. Like, I'm seeing a lot more development. I'm seeing a lot more community involvement, which I think is really cool to see. So, and you being the expert agent here and bringing all that education to the table, again, could listen to it all day long. So
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Okay, so speaking of fun, just a last couple questions, kind of like rapid fire, just to kind of get to know you a little bit more. So the first one is, what is something that no one really knows about you?
Oh, I've kind of been thinking about how to address that. I think one of the fun things I like to share was when I was 21, a sorority sister and I packed our bags in September and went backpacking through Europe.
No way!
Yes, and I went over there with $600 in my pocket. Our airfare from New York round trip to Luxembourg was $165.
Wow!
We had a Eurail pass that allowed us to travel by train, by boat, and by bus at no charge in most places. We felt like we were being ripped off because we got to Europe when there was a book out that all the backpackers and travelers would use. It was called Europe on $5 a day. When we arrived, the new book came out and it was Europe on $10 a day. We thought we were getting ripped off. But we stayed in hostels for $2.50 a night. And it was the most wonderful experience of my lifetime. I was there for 4 months.
Oh, wow.
Towards the end, I was going to stay 2. And towards the end, I traveled to Switzerland, met a guy on the train from Kansas City, and he and I went to this little hotel, and we got jobs. Since we didn't speak the language, all we could do was wash dishes.
Wow.
They provided us with wonderful living accommodations, and we washed dishes there. And then when the new year came, it was time to go back to school at the semester. I came home and back to my real life. But
that is incredible.
It was the best adventure I've ever taken.
I've always told Thomas that, when the kids are grown, living their own life, that's what I want to do. I just want to go backpack. That's amazing.
It was wonderful. And since then, I've made sure all of my 3 children have made it to Europe. One of them's been back 3 times.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to go. I know that's definitely on my bucket list.
You won't get to go over for $165 round trip, though.
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately. What is one of your favorite things to do here at Lake of the Ozarks?
Well, my very favorite thing to do at the lake is to lay on my air mattress on the water. That's how I can relax. That is just the thing I like the most. I also love being out on a boat in the water. I've always been on boats. My parents, when they came to the lake area, well, I started to tell you earlier, they came and they opened this restaurant, and they had this restaurant for 40 years. In the meantime, a gentleman by the 54 bridge approached my dad and said, "Buford, I've got a bad disease and I've got to move. I'm going to sell you my land for $53,000 and I want you to take it and do something with it." And it was about 1.5 miles or 2 miles shoreline on both sides of the bridge. Wow. Think about it, $53,000 for, probably 5,000 feet of shoreline or more.
Wow.
And Dad said, okay. He financed him, and then my father built a marina, recreation park, campground. And the kids came home every day. Every summer, we started to work at the park from high school days, or actually middle school days, till graduation from college. And the perk to that was, at the end of the day, if there was a boat available on the dock, we could take it out and go skiing. So being in a boat, I haven't water skied but once or twice in years, but I used to be an avid water skier. And being on the water in a boat or an air mattress, my favorite things.
That's so cool. Last question. Where is one of your favorite places to let your hair down here at Lake of the Ozarks?
I like all the waterfront restaurants, no doubt. But if I want to really relax and enjoy, I like going up to Tonka and dropping anchor and floating and climbing over the spillway and then shooting the cold water rapids into the lake. That's probably one of my favorite places to go at the lake.
It is. It's beautiful.
And
there.
I do love the entertainment areas. They've got great recreational areas, wonderful restaurants. That's absolutely a plus. But my favorite thing is to go drop anchor in Tonka and enjoy what it has to offer.
I love that. It's gorgeous there. Well, Grow, Thrive, Inspire listeners, we could not be more thankful to Josie for bringing her experience and history here and sharing it with us. Thanks so much, Josie. Again, I could listen to you talk all day. It's just so amazing to hear your story.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can connect with Josie on Facebook at Josie Sells the Lake or Josie at josiesellsthelake.com. You can also find her on Instagram and LinkedIn. We have even more of Season 3 coming at you, so be sure to tune back in on Wednesdays, or you can check us out on all of our platforms for more podcasts, information happening around the lake, or fun events at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and 89.3 FM Key Radio in Osage Beach. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire, and we'll catch you next time.